On this week's episode of Autograph Weekly, I'll be discussing the big announcement out of San Antonio that Elizabeth Olsen will be appearing at Superhero Car Show and Comic Con for 2 days. Then we'll dive into what autograph collectors can expect from Taylor Swift's upcoming release of Speak Now, Taylor's version. Then we'll touch on fake autographed Funkos that have been flooding the market, as well as celebrity imposter scams. Let's get into it. First, we're going to start off with the news from Superhero Comic Con and Car Show here in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm located. This is big news they're announcing, with Elizabeth Olsen going to come to be a guest for 2 days at the convention. Now, she's going to be appearing Friday and Saturday. This is July 7th and 8th. Now, this is going to be a really big announcement that people are going to come out of state for. This is going to be having a lot of people attracted to the convention. It was already a pretty good lineup, but now we've got a really A-list, top-tier celebrity in Elizabeth Olsen. She's going to be appearing for photo ops, for autographs, and also doing a panel as well. So there's going to be a lot to see with her being there and a lot of interest. Now, I'm personally very excited for this. I was a background actor in her new show Love and Death, which is on HBO. I got a little bit of a chance to meet her on set, and I'm really looking forward to meeting her again and getting a little bit more time with her, because I got to exchange a couple words with her on set, but really nothing at all of substance. So I'm hoping to have a little bit of a chat. I think when I'm there, we're usually lucky to get about a minute of time with a celebrity when you're at their table, and when it's at a photo op, 10 seconds max. Like, that's lucky, because you get in there, you meet the celebrity, you say hi, maybe shake their hand, you pose for the photo, and then bam, that's it. So I remember when I met Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was in the line, I saw him, shook the hand, and then I was ushered out. I didn't even know where I was. It was like I was there a second and bam, I was gone. I didn't have any time to take in the moment, to savor it or anything like that. And with a big star like Elizabeth Olsen, I think the same can be expected. They're going to be ushering in people in and out, trying to get the maximum amount of people to have a photo op with her, so that they can, of course, make the maximum amount of dollars on that interaction. So I don't think that I'm going to have a whole lot of time in front of her, but I would like to at least tell her that I was on the show with her, and then see if she remembers me. I'd like to tell her that her work was important to me, all that kind of stuff. And as I was on the show, I did actually get a prop from the show. There was a funeral in the show, and they had programs for the funeral, which I took one of those back with me. So I'm hoping to get Elizabeth Olsen's signature on there, and maybe have that as the start of a little bit of a cast piece. So I'm going to have her on there, and maybe Kristen Ritter, who does conventions. Hopefully I can get Jesse Plemons and some of the other actors on there, Patrick Fugit, and the director would be cool. Some of those other kinds of big names that are associated with that show, get it framed up nice. Maybe put a couple of the still frames of myself and my wife, who was actually on the show as well with me. I kind of dragged her along with me. So I think that's my ultimate goal for that. But I'm super stoked. I can't wait for July and for her to come here and to have this really awesome experience. San Antonio has been doing really great with not just this convention, but some of the other ones that are in town, and they've been drawing in some really top tier talent. So I'm quite fortunate to be here and be able to experience that. And I'm definitely going to bring you guys along with it too. I always bring my phone to do some recording. I walk the floor, and I capture interactions with fans and the celebrities. So definitely, when the show kicks off, if you're not able to be there in person, go over to my TikTok or YouTube, wherever you can find me. I'll be posting videos and kind of letting you guys get a sneak peek as to what is going on at the convention. It's a pretty fun experience. I'll be going to Comic Palooza here in about another week or so, and I'll be doing the same there. So if you want to see what's going on in Houston with some of the guests there, that should be a fun time as well. Moving on to other news, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, then this might be pretty interesting to you. So you're already going to know that she has announced recently that she's going to be putting out another version of Speak Now. So she's going to be doing Speak Now, Taylor's version, similar to the other albums that she's re-recording, so she gets the rights back. So she did Red and some of the other ones already. Now she's doing Speak Now, Taylor's version. And she hasn't specifically announced that there's going to be a signed copy offered along with this offering, but if we look back at the past, we can basically safely assume that yes, she is going to be offering signed CDs 100%. I mean, it's really not even a question at this point, because she's been so consistent with doing this that, it's basically guaranteed. So what do you need to do? Well, if we look at the past, for an example, we know that usually these signed CDs will drop right when the new album drops. So with Midnights, the release was at midnight on the release day, and as soon as they dropped, you were able to go to her store, store.taylorswift.com, and you were able to order your signed copy along with the rest of the digital copies and cassette tapes, all that kind of stuff. So last time we saw that she did a whole bunch of different versions of signed CDs and signed albums. So the CDs each had, there was 4 different versions, each had different cover art, and the vinyl had different lithographs, which were about 12 by 12 inch lithographs, and those each had different photos on them. So really in total there was 8 different signed pieces of art that you could get with that album release from Taylor Swift, and some of those went faster than others. Like there was the Jade version of her album. Each one had a different, each one of the photos had a different name, Jade, Mahogany, and so on. The Jade one I remember went really quick, so that made it harder to get the complete set of all 4 of the CDs or all 4 of the albums. So if you want to get it, you really need to go in there and get it quick, get the stuff into your cart, and then check out as fast as you can, because these signed items, some of them go really quick, and inevitably, I mean, all in all, I think all the signed items were gone within a couple of hours. So you really have to act quick, and you just basically, you got to wait up for this to happen. Now, if we look back further at some of her other releases, for example, Folklore, she released them and they did sell out, but that was one of those things where it was like, yeah, it sold out, but then you wait a couple days and then boom, here's another drop, right? And she would release a whole new batch of signed albums, and this just went on and on and on. Like, I remember, she was selling them, and then she even did like, there was sales where they would be half off. So normally it's like $25 for one of these signed CDs, but she was doing discounts on them. So she was like moving so many signed CDs, it was just flooding the market. It was absolutely crazy. It was not only that you could go to store.taylorswift.com to get these, her official store, but she was also sending them out to indie record stores. So people were going to their local record shop and they were finding just these stacks of signed Taylor Swift albums. It was like crazy times, right? So the price of those, well, initially when they came out, some of these CDs will go for, maybe $400 or something, even though they only sold for $25 through her shop. If it's something where the supply is just flooding the market, then the price is going to come way, way down. And like people were having to come down from like $400 to like $40. You were seeing a lot of these CDs sell for. Now, since the CD has been out for a long time, the market isn't so saturated, the price has definitely gone back up. But that's something that you got to watch out for. Like, don't go crazy. Don't go onto eBay, buy this CD signed right when it drops if you missed it out of the store. Just wait a little bit, and it'll probably come out again in another wave of releases from her shop. If not, just have some patience. The price isn't going to be as crazy as it is initially. Just give it a little bit of time. The price will come down. Now, there's some other CDs like Lover, some of the older ones, where she didn't really release as many to begin with, and the price has really stayed pretty firm and kind of elevated. So, it is kind of a mixed bag. Maybe she's going to be doing something where she releases a lot of CDs. If she's releasing a lower amount than she has in the past, then the value might hold. But either way, $25 for this CD is what I expect it to be at again, and that's a hell of a deal, no matter what the resale value is. If they make incredible gifts for Taylor Swift fans, and I mean, I don't care who you are, there's someone in your life who's a big Taylor Swift fan. Like, she's just that popular. No matter who you are, somebody who loves Taylor Swift. So keep a couple in the back pocket for Christmas time or someone's birthday, whatever. They make great gifts if nothing else. So that's something to look forward to. We'll see if there's a specific announcement about signed CDs later, but like I said, almost guaranteed. So that's it for some of the fun new announcements. Let's get into some of the other topics for today. We're going to go into discuss some of the Funko Pops that have kind of been flooding the autograph market. Now, these have been billed as facsimile Funko Pops, or facsimile autographs, or reproduction autographs, or I think reprint autographs as they are billed. Now, these come from Hall of Fame memorabilia on eBay. I think they might have an actual brick and mortar shop. I'm not entirely sure, but I know they have a separate website for sure. But anyway, Hall of Fame memorabilia is selling these along with other stuff like framed prints with autographs in them, which are all labeled as reproductions and facsimiles, but those terms are not exactly, known to people who are not necessarily in the hobby. So somebody who is just like a casual buyer, maybe looking for a gift for somebody, not an autograph collector or something like that, might be thinking that, hey, this is a real autograph. And eventually, because they think it's real, or maybe they're unscrupulous, I don't know, but eventually these things get sold on into the secondary market. So it's entirely possible that when you're shopping for an autograph on Facebook Marketplace or at a convention, you might find one of these reproduction autographs that somebody thinks is real, but it's actually a reproduction. So we're going to take a look at them. We're going to go into exactly what they are, how Hall of Fame memorabilia is making these, and what the consequences to that is, and what we can do to kind of spot what these are. So I saved you guys the $30 and I spent the money out of my own pocket and I actually picked one of these up. So this one is a Iron Spider Funko Pop and it's signed by Stan Lee, signed, right? So it's not actually signed. What you can see here is that it is a raised autograph. You can feel it with your hand. It is raised and separate. It's not like, laser etched, or it's not pen even. So actually, if you take a close look, you can see that it's actually a piece of vinyl that has been applied to the window, and it is actually on the window and over the box right here. And you're not going to be able to see it on the camera, but if you look where it is applied to the window and then to the box, you can see that the vinyl right there has been lifted up. So you can actually see by looking at it closely that it's a strip of vinyl. But if it wasn't on the box, it would just be all completely flush with the window, which some of these are. And it'd be a little bit harder to tell. But basically, if you look at it really closely, you can tell it's all one solid uniform color on here. There's no variation like you would get with an actual ink pen. There's no like pooling of the ink anywhere. There's no variation at all. It's very uniform and very clean here. So if you look at it from a distance, it definitely looks like it's a white paint pen, right? Because that's what we've come to expect. We've come to expect that these Funko Pops have been signed with Deco paint pens, which is definitely the recommended paint pen to use for these Funko Pops. And I have a whole article on talesfromthecollection.com on exactly what is the best pen that you should be using for your Funko Pops or for any other items. I cover hockey pucks, photos, posters, you name it. I picked out what is the best pen for you to use. And honestly, in most cases, it's probably going to be the Deco Color paint pen, which is just a really good all-around pen. There's a couple that you'd be better off using a Sharpie, but for far and wide, it's the Deco paint pen. So we've come to expect that look. And these vinyl signatures, they kind of give you that same look, really. They do. But if you look at it closely, you can tell that this is vinyl. It's not an actual paint pen. So when you're looking at an autograph in person, you're definitely going to want to check it out. You're going to want to put your hand to it. Does it feel like a paint or does it feel like it's vinyl? Like somebody basically took a photo of a signature, a real life Stan Lee signature. Like this is definitely his signature style. So it looks like a Stan Lee signature for sure. But they took the photo, they removed the background and turned it into like an SVG. So this is just a file format that you can use on a machine like a Cricut, which has a knife on it, and it's an aperture that you can plug into you can plug the SVG design in there. The Cricut will take a big piece of vinyl and it will cut out the signature. Then you can just take out that cut signature and you can lay it onto whatever. People use this to make shirts, hats, all kinds of stuff. But in this case, this is the first time I've seen this, where they're using the vinyl applique onto a Funko Pop or all of these other items that they're selling. And they're basically selling these reprints that way. Now, the way that they're advertising, they have some kind of plausible deniability, I would say, because if you look at their Pops, they say it's a facsimile signed reprint Funko Pop. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. You can say reprint Funko Pop. Does that mean that the Funko Pop is reprinted and the autograph is original? Or facsimile signed? So facsimile means like a reproduction, but that's, facsimile is not a common word. If you're not an autograph collector, then you don't use the word facsimile probably a lot. So yeah, those are kind of deceiving, misleading words to be using in a title. But let's just go through their listing here and we can pick out something and get a better look at their description. You can kind of tell that I think what they're doing is being deceptively vague and intentionally deceiving on these. So let's look at this Natalie Portman just for fun. Um, okay, yeah, let's get the whole product description here. So Natalie Portman, Mighty Thor, facsimile signed reprint Funko Pop figurine. And you can see here, so this isn't like an actual picture of what is signed. It looks like they put this SVG on here digitally, and then when you get it, they print out the SVG with vinyl and they stick it on there. So this is all digital. This is not an actual photo of a signature on a Funko Pop like this. So it's a little bit hard to see exactly what you're getting, but yeah, this is basically what it's going to look like. Now, if we go down to the description here, there's some things here. It says original or reprint, and it says original here. So, I think they're getting away with saying some stuff like, oh, this is original because I guess here they're probably saying, oh, well, we're referring to the pop itself, right? So yeah, the pop is original, but the autograph is not. So, and this is autographed, false. Like, okay, I mean, I don't know what that really means. Autograph false, okay. But then here it says authenticity provided by JSA. So it's like, okay, so this allegedly has a JSA cert, which actually does not. It has no kind of cert from JSA whatsoever. So I don't know why they put that, but it says that it does have a JSA autograph authentication done. So, I mean, that's pretty mixed messaging and deceitful. It's saying that it's an authentic autograph. It's been authenticated by one of the leading third-party autograph authenticators. So what's going on there? That doesn't really make too much sense. Let's see. And the description is condition, a brand new, unused, unopened, undamaged item in its original packaging, where packaging is applicable. Packaging should be the same as blah, blah, blah. And then unprinted. Yeah. So that's it. Nothing more about the autograph itself. So we have a couple words in here that are just outright lies or deceiving with the James Spencer authentication. We have original. It also says these things are graded. It says graded yes, which is not graded at all. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then let's see. It says for sales, a facsimile autograph. It's created by a laser with adhesive transfer vinyl and affixed to the figurine's outer box. A facsimile autograph presents you with a great opportunity to proudly rep your favorite athlete without spending a small fortune. So, they do some things right here where they make it clear that, yeah, it is a facsimile autograph, but then they also use deceptive wording to make, if you're not reading it carefully, if you don't go down and read the description, you just read these couple details like, oh, it's JSA certified, boom, good for me. Like, a lot of people, they just want the cert, like, does it have a COA, yes or no? Yes, okay. And they move on. They might not go all the way down here. So I think it's a little bit deceitful what they're doing. And certainly when you get this, there's no kind of marking or identification on here that would let you know, if you're not the original buyer, that, hey, this is a reproduction. You really have to look at it, inspect it, and know what to look for to see that it is a fake. So if I go to a local store, if I go to Facebook Marketplace and I list this again for sale, I say, hey, this is a Stan Lee autograph, $150, and I sell it to you. If you don't know what you're looking for, you might buy it for $150, and you would think that you have a real autograph, because it does look pretty good if you're not looking too close. If you're really looking close at it, then yeah, you'll be able to tell. But if like my mom were to see this, she had no idea about autographs. She would think this is real, 100%. Like I have no doubt she would think this is real. So you really have to do your due diligence and look at what you're buying. But that's really hard when it's not in person. So I mean, you can do that easily when you're in person, but if it's online on eBay or wherever, there's a good chance that you might buy this thinking that it's real if you saw a picture of it on eBay or online somewhere. So that's something to look out for sure. Now we have something that's a little bit harder to tell because we have an item here from the same seller that is framed up. So you're not going to be able to run your hand over it. You're not going to be able to really examine it closely. This is behind a pane of glass, and it's going to be looking pretty good. I haven't actually seen one of these in person. This is just a mock-up here. But I imagine that if I saw this in person, whether it being behind glass and it not being easily examined, that, at least at first glance, I would think it's real for sure. And someone who does not know what they're looking for would probably definitely think that it's real. I think the fact alone that it's in this nice frame, it's got this nice matting, it's custom. It's got a nice looking photo. You're probably going to think that alone lends some air of authenticity for sure. So what they're doing, I think, is quite deceitful if they're not marking out that these are indeed reproductions somewhere on the item itself, which they're not doing. And I think it's going to definitely catch some people up. So you really got to be careful. Forgeries have always been a problem in the autograph hobby, but with crickets being able to reproduce an autograph in vinyl, or even using a real pen to do an auto pen type signature, this kind of technology is easily accessible and very affordable. So anybody could be doing this, really. I would like to say that I did reach out to Hall of Fame memorabilia, and they did not respond to my questions. I wanted to ask them a little bit about what they think the ramifications of what they're doing are, and if they're being clear in their messaging and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, they did not get back to me after about a week of waiting, so I had to go ahead and cover this without their feedback, unfortunately. Now, moving on to another serious topic having to do with, I guess you could say, fraud. So in this one, we're going to be talking about celebrity imposter scams. Now, I run the website talesfromthecollection.com, and this website helps fans get in touch with celebrities. And through the course of me running this website, I get a lot of feedback from fans who have tried to reach out to celebrities, or in some cases had celebrities reach out to them, and they turned out to be imposters. So this is very common with Johnny Depp, with, I would say, Brendan Fraser also. I get a lot of people who are telling me that they are talking to somebody who's impersonating Jeremy Renner. A lot of these big celebrities have people who are out there basically doing scams to impersonate these people. And, it's pretty much a common thread among a lot of these. So I'm going to go into some of the details of what happens with these celebrity imposter scams to better protect you and better protect some of the people who you might know and care for, because these definitely target people who, I would say, the same kind of people who are vulnerable to other scams, probably older people who are not as internet and tech savvy and might not know how a lot of these technologies work. So it's like anybody who's probably susceptible to a catfishing type scheme is probably going to be really susceptible to these celebrity imposter scams. So here we are at talesfromthecollection.com, and I have a whole article covering what exactly goes into the celebrity imposter scam. But basically, here are a few things that you need to know. If you're going to be talking to a celebrity, you really want to make sure that you're talking to an actual authentic celebrity. And I'd say 99.9999% of the time that you're online and you're talking to somebody via Messenger and they're saying that they're a celebrity, let's be honest, probably it's an imposter. All right. There are very rare occasions where a celebrity actually reaches out and talks to a fan via Messenger or one of these apps, but typically, if that ever does happen, it's probably going to be they're going to be liking a tweet, they're going to be retweeting you or responding to one of your Instagram posts, something like that in the comments. Very rarely have I actually seen a celebrity go out and send someone a DM. Like, it almost never happens. So if you see that happening to yourself or someone you know, instant red flag. It's probably a scam. All right. Big red flag again is if they reach out to you and they don't show their face, right? A lot of these ones are done strictly 100% through a chat. And they'll want to get them off of the social media platform and onto usually Google Messenger or sometimes Telegram. And they'll get them talking, and they don't want to do a phone call or a video chat, anything like that. But they'll, have, knowledge about the celebrity. Like, they probably have read a bunch of biographies, or they're using, just Chat GPT real quick to put in these questions if you ask them a question about the celebrity, so they get a response back. That's probably pretty accurate. But they don't want to show their face because it's not actually the celebrity. So if they're not willing to show their face, that's a big red flag. Sometimes they'll be pretending to be representatives of the celebrity too. And again, same thing. It doesn't really happen. That's not real. It's fake. And typically what's going on is these celebrity imposters are trying to get money out of their fans. And they're doing this by usually saying that they're selling like a subscription to a fan club. So they'll be asking for several $100s in order to get access to this fan club, and then you can have special access to the celebrity, that kind of thing. And people have been grifted for, I mean, literally, I've heard people who come to my site, they've been grifted for thousands of dollars. They've just given these celebrities thousands of dollars. And I mean, I can't tell you why they do it, honestly. Like, Jeremy Renner doesn't need your thousands of dollars, right? He's a very big celebrity. He makes a lot of money. I know he's going through a bit of a hard time right now, and you know, I can imagine that a lot of people feel for him, but he really doesn't need your money from some random fan. He's not hitting up random people on Instagram and Twitter and asking them for money. It's just simply not happening. So you got to think it through. And I got a lot of people on the website. They come and they say, hey, I've been talking to Keanu Reeves. He's another big celebrity who's being impostered left and right. People say, hey, I'm talking to Keanu Reeves. I think maybe it might not be him, actually. And yeah, like, trust your gut. Like, if you're talking to Keanu Reeves, quote unquote Keanu Reeves online, and you think it's not him, well, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not him, right? He's not out there just messaging random fans. I'm sorry, but it's just not happening. So, forget about it. Now, it used to be a lot easier to tell if a celebrity was the real deal on social media because we had the blue check marks for Twitter, and we had verified accounts on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. But since Elon Musk has kind of switched stuff up on Twitter, and he's made the Twitter Blue something that you can just purchase for a paltry fee, basically any social media account can look authentic without actually being authentic. You just have to pay whatever the $15 or whatever it is to get your blue check mark. Now you have an air of authenticity, and you can easily scam people. So it's a bit harder to figure out if the celebrity you're talking to is actually the real celebrity. But with a little bit of reasonable thinking and research, you can actually find out what the real social media account is. And if you're not talking to a real verified social media account for a celebrity, then you're wrong. Right, so stop doing it. And there's even celebrities I don't find that it's been talked about very widely, but there are some celebrities like Johnny Depp, especially during his trial when he was like the center of the public eye, where he was getting a lot of complaints by fans saying that there were these imposters, and he even put out like a public service announcement on his Instagram saying, basically, I'm not talking to anybody. Like, I'm not talking to my fans. If you get a message from someone saying that they're Johnny Depp, it's not me. So stop talking to them. It's a fraud, and don't waste your time on it. So you have a lot of these celebrities aware of it, but I think there's very little that they can actually do. So one thing you're going to want to make sure is that you're actually seeing the person in real life. You're having a video chat or something like that, making sure that, hey, you're actually talking to the person you think you're talking to. If they're asking you for money, big red flag, walk away right then. It's not the celebrity. They don't want your money. Check out for inconsistencies. Also, you can check out how good is their English. If they're a native English speaker, if the celebrity is and they're using some broken English when they're talking to you, or their sentence structure is off, they sound funny, that's a big red flag. They're probably a scammer from another country being an imposter for a celebrity, so watch out for that. If they want like signs for urgency, like, hey, they're asking for money and they want it now, like, oh, you better give me the $200 to join the fan club, or I'm going to go to some other fan and give them the opportunity, that kind of stuff. If they're pushing you for this money, they really need it now, another big red flag for a scam. So careful for that one. And so basically this is how a celebrity imposter scam works. And it's not just celebrities. Like, these imposter scams, they work for all kinds of stuff. And I mean, with AI, this kind of stuff is going to get more and more real and scary, because we have programs now that can pretty faithfully replicate a celebrity's voice. We have deep fakes that can represent how a celebrity looks. So, I mean, what I'm saying about like actually seeing a celebrity and like these imposters not wanting to be on a video chat and that kind of stuff, like, I mean, give it a couple years and they're going to have this technology in their hands, and it's going to be quite easy for them to open up a webcam and impersonate a celebrity the way they look and the way they sound. So You really got to be on your toes as technology continues to advance. This kind of thing is going to get more and more insidious and pervasive. So just look out for yourself online and basically be skeptical is what I would say. Be very skeptical. But how the scam works is you get the phishing email, text, or call, and then you get some communications there to build rapport and trust between them, and then you get a appeal for money. They ask you for money. They want to send you to a website that captures your personal information, some credentials, a password, that kind of thing. Or they want you to install some software or click on a link that is going to put malware onto your computer. And they use it for identity theft, to steal your money, for ransomware, or to steal your data. So there's maybe it's not just for money. Maybe they don't want you just to send money. They want to get your personal data or put some malicious software in your computer. There could be a whole different bunch of different scams that they're using here. So just because they're not asking you for money doesn't necessarily mean that's not a scam. It might very well still. But every day, I mean, I probably get at least 3 comments and messages a day from people saying that they've been scammed. So it's a very real thing that's out there. It's an actual threat to a lot of people who are interested in celebrities and might be interested in writing fan mail and collecting autographs. So something that you guys should definitely be aware of. Thanks for watching another episode of Autograph Weekly. Please like and subscribe and join us next week as we cover what's new in the autograph collecting hobby.